My coaching slash teaching philosophy. Hi, Ian. To me, being a coach within a school means much more to me than simply running and organizing extracurricular sports. For me, being a coach is a philosophy. As corny as it sounds, it's true. When I think of the ideal coach, they are someone who's always in your corner. They cheer you on when you're on fire. They cheer you up when you are down on yourself. They know exactly what you need to make you better. And they know exactly how to make you see the best parts of yourself and how to show you how to use your strengths and to make the best out of your weaknesses. How a coach behaves in a classroom is only slightly different than how they behave in a gym, on a track, on the field, or on the ice. A great coach pays attention to the whole student, not just their performance and skills. They can see when you are having a crummy day, and they understand better than you sometimes that what you need may not be what your team or your class needs. Great coaches pay more attention to the players than they do to the game, just as a great teacher pays more attention to their students than they do to the lessons they are teaching. That is all easier said than done, of course, but our job is to do both. What I'm saying is you can't do one and ignore the other. Well, you can, but you do a pretty terrible job. So, true or false? The only thing you have to worry about when coaching or teaching is for your students to have fun. False. While making sure they're having fun is a critical part of them doing well, because they're engaged when they're having fun, our job is to develop their skills and abilities in order to give them the tools they need to reach their full potential. It is not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. True. Though winning is pretty awesome. You might start with the worst team the sport has ever faced, and they may come in last. But as long as they're better off after you're done with them than they were before, sometimes that's all you can hope for. The same goes for a classroom. Persistence is key. Definitely true. This is probably the most valuable asset. The world is filled with stories of those who overcame adversity, and what they will all tell you is keep trying no matter what gets thrown at you. You throw in the towel, and it's all over. But if you keep trying, you will do great things. Even if you never achieve what you first set out to do, the growth that happens when a student perseveres is astounding. So, the big question: do I value competition or participation, inclusion or excellence? So competition, definitely. While not everything should be competitive, and I probably won't directly encourage competition a whole lot, it is a natural biological force that is ingrained in all of us. To teach students never to be competitive would be a disservice, since they will undoubtedly face competition their entire adult lives. Though that being said, you don't want to put too much pressure by always having a competition, because some just don't do well with that kind of stress. Participation. This is key. You can't win if you don't play. All that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. Edmund Burke. How can I stress this enough? If you don't think you can, and you never try, then you're right. All cliches aside, this is exactly what I was talking about with persistence. When I imagine a student not willing to try something, it's usually one of two scenarios. Either they think they will fail, or they think that they won't benefit from it, or both. So either way, how will they know for sure unless they at least give it a shot? So I made a nice little diagram here. So there's 4 things that could happen. And there's kind of 2 things that they could fall under. So either they can or they can't, and either they try or they don't try. If they aren't able to do it and they try, if they can't and they try, then maybe they'll feel down on themselves afterwards, or maybe they'll try again. They'll keep on trying, and then they'll grow from it. If they can't do it and they don't try, then they'll never really know for sure, and they'll just end up with that negative feeling of themselves. If they can do it and they try, then all is well. They accomplished what they set out to do, and they're happy. If they can do it and they don't try, now this one's probably the worst of all, because then they have this potential, but they've never reached it because they have this negative opinion that they either won't do it, or they won't be able to do it, or it's not worth their time. In which case, either way, you're losing. So if you don't try, either you have a bad outcome or you have a bad outcome. If you try, either you have a good outcome, or you might have a good outcome, you might have a bad outcome. But either way, trying is always better than not trying. So that's my philosophy on participation. Inclusion. This one is paramount, easily the most important of all four. Inclusiveness is better than judgmental polarization. Now, this was said by John Brummett, a columnist for the Arkansas Democrat, not a very well-known publication. But inclusiveness is better than judgmental polarization. Judgmental polarization. So people are making a judgment call, and that judgment call is polarizing. So making two different, it's these people can do this, these people can't do this. Just that polarization effect, like the separation, like that is so damaging, because as soon as people begin to act as if their differences divide them, then they're right, and they are divided. The conscious exclusion by peers is the worst form of bullying, in my opinion, because it's often the first step towards a larger bullying problem. When you have someone telling themselves they can't do something, that is hard enough to overcome. But when they hear these kinds of thoughts externally as well as internally, there is no force on earth that is strong enough to lift them up from that. Therefore, the first step in any class, any team, or any group is to create an inclusive environment where everyone is welcome to try and fail or try and succeed, and everyone either shares in their successes or their losses, and they help each other out. When someone fails, those around them encourage them. When someone succeeds, that person shares their successes and they give credit to those who helped them get there. When everyone is welcome and everyone is embraced for who they are, everyone can focus on striving to achieve the higher order needs of mastery, purpose, and autonomy related to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Excellence. So to me, this is a broad and general word that can have many connotations. When I hear excellence, I think of a horse winning the Triple Crown, or a hockey player winning the Stanley Cup, or an Olympian taking gold, or a scholar getting straight A's. While these achievements are phenomenal, and they should be celebrated, if you only allowed yourself to feel as if you have reached excellence once you are rewarded by someone else for doing so, then your failures will overwhelm you, or you will become a basket case and you have a nervous breakdown or an anxiety attack. These levels of expectation are just too much pressure for a person to handle. Students should be shown how to find excellence in themselves and to celebrate their successes, small and large, and to not wait until they are told that they have succeeded by other people. So this is my teaching philosophy. How I'm going to use it in the classroom, is just to make sure that I minimize the pressure from for people to achieve excellence, to maximize inclusion, because inclusion is the first step to creating a beneficial environment for everyone to grow in. Participation, which to me is intimately linked with inclusion. You need to participate. You can't win if you don't try. And in competition, while some people see it's kind of a controversial thing, I think competition is also a great motivator. And it's one way that people grow. It's a very natural thing. But the pressures that come along with it often can be too much. And like you said, teachers and coaches need to act as a pressure gauge for that, and they need to teach students the skills to deal with that kind of pressure in those kinds of environments.